Welcome to Noona Business Podcast, episode 24, SMLS Second Male Lead Syndrome, with your hosts, Becca and Megan. By popular request, we are covering the debilitating condition of SMLS, also known as Second Male Lead Syndrome. It's a common condition, and 9 out of 10 KDrama fans catch it at some point in their lives. It can lead to heartbreak, mood swings, fits of rage, and there are currently no known cures. Today we go over good and bad examples of SMLS and ponder why K-drama female leads have such poor choices in men. Come on, ladies, have higher standards for yourselves. Our game today is another listener request, if BTS were rom-coms and meet cutes. We're digging into our guilty pleasure archives for this one, and it is a blast from the past. That's what you're in for today on Noona Business.
It's weird. I get kind of dizzy some days, and that's when I know I need to put my glasses on. But then, like today, I'll put them on, and instead of solving the problem, I just feel weird in a different way.
Really?
Yeah.
Have I told you that when I worked in TV and I wanted to be left alone, I would wear glasses? There was no prescription lenses in them. They were just fake glasses.
Because it made you look like you were working?
It made me feel like I was secluded. And I think it looked off-putting to a lot of guys, because the one guy was like, "You look really, really smart today." And then he left me alone all day.
You're like, "Oh, I got to try this more often."
I was like, I'm wearing glasses all the time.
Apparently, this is all it takes. Greg was the first person I think who called me out on the fact that I would put in headphones even when I wasn't listening to anything. Yeah, at work, so that no one would talk to me. He's like, I see you wearing headphones a lot, and I don't think you're listening to anything. Don't let my secret get around.
You got me.
You got me. I just don't want to talk to anyone.
I'm gonna try this coffee. It's gonna be super hot.
It cannot be hot enough, in my opinion.
I don't know. Okay, I don't know how you do that.
I like it so hot.
Don't look at my notes because I don't want to ruin the surprise.
As I've just said, my glasses aren't working today, so I can't read them anyway.
All right. Let's jump in.
We're talking about something very near and dear to my heart tonight.
This is a Megan episode. I'm going to let you take the wheel.
Well, I want everyone to know right now that I've been living with a condition since 2012, 13.
There's no amoxicillin or antibiotics that will cure this.
Yeah. Oh, guys, I have an ear infection. For real, like a little kid. I am on amoxicillin right now, like a little kid. But that's not the condition I'm talking about. The condition I've been living with, like a champion, is a chronic case of second lead syndrome.
SMLS.
Second
male lead syndrome.
I can't tell you how difficult it's been.
You're going to tell us.
You're right. I can't.
You're going to tell us today.
I take that back. I can tell you. Heartbreak after heartbreak. Why do I keep trying?
I feel like we're going to relive your dating history by digging into all these male leads that you just want to get the girl and they don't get the girl.
Never happens. And that's the thing. I know it's not going to happen. I know they're not going to get the girl. There's what I think I've heard of one drama where halfway through they're like, "Oh man, the second lead is way more popular than the lead, so we're just going to rewrite this." It was like that. God, Susie was in it. I heard that it was one of her early ones, something with the word high school in it. I'm pretty sure they rewrote it so that the second lead was the lead.
Never heard of it. Never heard of that dilemma either. You know what, though? I feel like a lot of people watch a drama because of the main lead. Mm-hmm. Whereas I feel there are many times where you'll be like, well, so-and-so is the second male lead.
He's going to get his heart trampled on, and I'm going to be there to watch it.
And I am here for it.
Well, and I've actually, in Redemption, seen a lot of shows where I liked the second male lead, and then immediately, I couldn't have been the only one, because immediately after, they get a lead role.
Oh. See, I feel like that happens for men, but not so much for women.
No, if you are a second female lead once, you are a second female lead forever.
Forever. It's not really fair.
It's never the same. We talked about this a little when we were texting. Second female leads are always the worst. Mm-hmm. Like horrible, conniving. And there's a handful of exceptions. My mom and I were just talking about one where both the second leads were wonderful people. And you wanted them to be okay, including the girl. And now I can't remember what it was. But it was notable because that never happens.
Yeah.
Whereas the second male lead is almost always
Just
a
terrible.
dear, lovely, beautiful soul.
I tell you what, I got distracted. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
First off, so we're talking about second male lead syndrome today.
Right.
The syndrome where you fall in love with the second lead character, the guy.
Because he's a better choice.
Because he's a better choice all around.
90% of the time he's a better choice.
And if you remove yourself from the situation of the drama, you realize that the lead actress should be with this guy.
Right.
And she doesn't pick him
he
for
is
whatever
actually
reason.
perfect.
So we have a lot of great points that we'd love to discuss. We've got some tips from other people. But first I want to thank everybody again. We do it every time. But thank you to everybody for the emails and the tweets and the comments. A couple of people have even written about our podcast in their blogs this week.
Which is so cool.
It's really fun to meet everybody. And I don't want you guys to think we're just like saying that to suck up. We genuinely like meeting you and hearing from you all. And hopefully you enjoy the responses that we send back because we don't feel like they're half as good as what you're sending us.
And
but we try.
It's like having friends.
What is that like?
I know. It's like having friends who like the same stuff as you and are as crazy passionate about the same stuff as you. And that's hard sometimes.
Yeah, it's hard to
really
find that.
Hard.
It's very difficult to find that. So for our listeners, we have a game. Do you want to jump into the game?
Should we do the game first?
All right.
Yeah.
Should we do it?
This
was a request. Somebody had asked us to do BTS as romantic comedies or
Meet
Cutes.
Yeah.
Meet Cutes.
Which, this is so in my wheelhouse because
Can you describe what a Meet Cute is for
a
everybody?
meet cute is a device used in film or television where the protagonists meet in a unique, memorable, adorable way. So I'm trying to think of a really good example of a meet cute. Okay, meet cute. Have you seen You've Got Mail?
Yes.
That's a very famous romantic comedy.
Yes.
So the leads meet when Tom Hanks's company is going to take over Meg Ryan's bookstore, and he's with his like niece and brother and sister. It's very complicated. At this children's bookstore that she owns, and he knows that he's about to take over. They're not taking over her bookstore, but he's going to put her out of business, and he knows it's a possibility. And she doesn't know who he is. So when they first meet, she's really lovely and pleasant to him, and he's a little cagey. And then they meet again, and she realizes who he is, and they have a big fight. She's like, "You lied to me." I think those are both examples of good meet cute. Put together, they're their meet cute. So it's like she's friendly and warm, and then as soon as she realizes who he is, the claws come out. So meet cute is like the memorable way two characters meet.
I think that's really adorable. The first time I heard the phrase meet cute was from Mindy Kaling on a talk show, I think.
Love her.
And I was like, what is a meet cute? Anything that Mindy Kaling likes, I pretty much I like.
Yes.
So I had to go Google what a meet
Love
cute
her.
was.
If you haven't watched The Mindy Project, everybody should check out The Mindy Project. That show is great. Have you watched that show?
I've only watched the first season.
The first season's really good, but the second season is the best.
I need to get on it.
And I love romantic comedies. I grew up on romantic comedies. At the end of the day, that's really all I want to watch anyway. Do you like romantic comedies?
I do. Oh, young Becca, young idealistic, well-rested Becca loved romantic comedies.
Did you have a favorite?
I had too many.
Too many?
I had too many. I was that girl in college that people would come to my room like it was a movie store.
Oh, yeah.
And they would borrow movies all the time because
That's
I had
the
a
best
great
girl.
collection. And yeah, I was a film buff. I loved rom-coms especially.
I feel like that makes, for me, the transition into K-dramas was so easy because basically the K-dramas I like the best are just 28-hour long romantic comedies. So it was a very natural progression.
See, and I'm more into the angsty
You're
stuff
into
now. So
the stuff where I'm just like, what is going
I'm tired.
on
I'm
here?
haggard. I'm like an old crotchety country western singer who's like, my dog died and life isn't looking up.
My truck
and
broke down.
In reality, I have a wonderful life. I'm not complaining about my life, but that's the kind of thing I'm drawn to now.
Yes.
Something a little different.
Oh, that's a good meet cute. It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh, yeah.
I guess they know each other a long time, but then when they're at the dance and they fall in the pool, that's a great meet cute. Meet cutes are the best.
I can't wait.
I don't know how people think of them up, but
Here we go. I'm going to do, so I think what we should do, maybe, we haven't really talked about this.
No.
What if I do, so I'm going to do the romantic comedies. If BTS were romantic comedies, what they would be. So if we go member by member, do you want to follow it up then with what would they would be if they were Meet Cute?
Yeah, let's
so we
do
can
that.
do each member one
Let's
at
do
a
that,
time.
yeah.
All right.
And to be honest, my Meet Cute, some of them I had to use, I talk about them sort of generally.
Okay.
So I'll have to throw in an example for a couple of them.
All right. Well, I hope we don't let you down, dear listener. Here we go. So BTS as Rom Coms and Meet Cutes by Becca and Megan. A 2018 memoir. Here we go. Jin. So you're going to give me crud about it. I said, because I'm so hard on Jin. He would be Something's Gotta Give with Diane Keaton and Jack Nicholson.
Okay, in fairness, I do like that movie.
I do like that movie a lot. My only reasoning, because he's old, but also because he talks about how he's so old.
Yeah.
And again, Jin is not old. He's 26.
Yeah, he's
not
just
old at all.
a child.
Come talk to me in 9 years, buddy.
Seriously.
But, so I said he would be Something's Gotta Give purely on the old aspect.
All right.
Plus, his name is Harry in the show, and I think that's really funny. Harry. Who names their main character
Also,
Harry?
Just a moment to contemplate the fact that Jack Nicholson's in a romantic comedy.
Yeah, he's in a few.
Is he? Well, yeah, I guess what's
Yeah.
that one with Helen Hunt?
Yeah.
As Good as It Gets.
As Good as It Gets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love him. I
tell
love
you
Jack
what.
Nicholson.
That man can do many things.
Yes.
And then I said he would be that or Chocolat
Oh, okay.
because
of food.
it's about food.
Yes.
But also it's very like Johnny Depp kind of seems like Jin. I don't know why I get Jin vibes from Johnny Depp.
Interesting. I have not seen that in so long.
It's been a while.
Like Johnny Depp specifically in Chocolat, or like
Yes, specifically in Chocolat, not in general.
he's the confidence like Jin, where it's like
He's got
very,
the jawline.
very
I hate to bring it back to a
confidence.
physical beauty
Yeah,
thing, but they're
well.
very.
Jin himself would bring it back to a physical beauty thing, so I think that's totally fair.
They're both worldwide handsome for sure. So those are my ones for Jin. What you got?
My Meet Cute for Jin, I said it would be he is like the two characters buying the last something.
Oh,
Like-
I could see that.
Like both at the store, and they desperately need like I can't even think of an example.
like a head of lettuce.
Yes, they desperately need a head of lettuce, and it's the last head of lettuce.
And it's probably like an organic, the most perfect
Yes,
looking head of lettuce
yes.
ever.
And then there's like an adorable argument over the lettuce that turns into an adorable flirt session over the lettuce. That then in itself turns into a happily ever after.
That turns into like a, come on over and I'll cook you lettuce wraps.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the example I thought of was Serendipity, when they both go for the last pair of gloves. It would be like that, but food.
I think that's genius.
That's Jin's Meet Cute.
I like that idea a lot. So for Suga, I had to say this. I actually, okay, again, I have two. I said while you were sleeping.
That is my all-time favorite. Favorite.
But he wouldn't be Bill Pullman's character. He wouldn't be Jack. He would be Peter. He'd be the guy who's sleeping
In
the whole
the-
movie. And he wakes up and he's like, wait, what? I was just in a romantic comedy? That
What?
would be Suga.
Then he's not that upset that he missed it.
Yeah.
He's like, okay. That's all right.
Actually, but that was like my funny one. My more realistic one, I think he would be Silver Linings Playbook.
Oh, I love that movie
Because
too.
it's so raw
That's
and
like-
about
Yes.
having emotional issues and
Absolutely.
dependencies and problems, and I just feel like that screams Suga. That's August D. That would be the August D rom-com. Does that make sense?
It's perfect.
Thank you.
Because Silver Linings Playbook is like a romantic comedy with an edge. It's like
Yeah.
a romantic comedy film,
Yes.
not like a rom-com.
Right.
That's really good.
I like that one. It was the first one that came to mind.
Well, for his Meet Cute, I didn't have
They both reach
An
for the same, like,
example.
Ambien
Yeah,
together.
they're both-
I'm just kidding.
It's actually similar. Someone is mad, the other one is doing something. So like your neighbors, and you're playing music too loud, and he has to like come tell you to turn it down. And so the initial Meet Cute again is an argument that then I feel like there's a lot of one-upping in the future, trying to make the other one madder than you can.
I'm falling in love with this idea.
And you're just gonna, by the end of it,
It'd
you're
be like,
just so in love.
she has dogs next door that never stop barking.
Yes.
And it makes him mad because he's trying to record something and he gets dogs in the
it
background.
upsets his cat.
And then she gets mad because he plays music really loud
Too
late
loud.
at night.
And they're just constantly trying to one-up
I
each
love
other.
this. You want to see that one?
Yeah, I would watch it. kidding me? I want Suga to act. We talked last time about how he's an underappreciated dancer. He's also an underappreciated actor.
Unpopular opinion. I think Suga, he's my bias. You guys should know that by now.
Wait, what?
But I also think he's a dirty liar because I think he speaks English way better than he leads on. I also think he's a really good actor, and he's like, I can't act. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he's holding back from us.
Kara was the first person to mention that conspiracy theory of
Yes.
like you can actually speak English fluently. And then I watched some of the videos and I was like, oh, how have I missed this for so long?
I'm pretty sure he's leading us astray. But anyway,
Yeah.
I would still watch.
I don't have an
That Meet
example
Cute.
to compare that to. I'm sure there are millions, but
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like it would be that angry neighbor turned lover.
Yes.
Sorry, I said lover.
I want to see it so bad. All right, J-Hope.
I can't wait to hear what you have for J-Hope.
Okay.
This one was hard for me.
This one I had a really difficult time with. So I said Pretty Woman, but he would be Vivian. He would be the hooker. And now this is not in the sense of like sexually. I just feel like he's so happy and innocent.
Well, she does have
like her personality.
a pure of heart thing.
Yes.
That is, you can't be Richard Gere and be pure. Like, his
Right.
character is so sullied.
Right.
Which is, I guess, the point of the movie, right?
I-
We judge the prostitute, but she's the one with the pure heart.
Right.
I've only seen Pretty Woman once.
Oh, I've watched it quite a few times.
Have you?
It was one of my mom's favorite movies, so that's a family favorite. But then I also said, and hear me out on this one as well. I also said possibly Bridesmaids with Kristen Wiig.
Love that movie.
Because he could be either character. He could be Annie,
Yeah.
or is it Rhodes? That's his name.
Rhodes, yeah.
the cop. Because they're both so happy. Like when Annie is super down and out, it just comes in and he is her ball of sunshine.
Yeah.
But then when he's finally down and out, which doesn't happen often, like she can ramp it up, and they're both so funny.
Very
and
animated characters, both
Yeah.
of them.
They're like
adore
human
that
Muppets,
movie.
like J-Hope.
Yes.
Like J-Hope.
That is the beautiful way of describing
Yeah.
it. So for the Meet Cute, I said it would be a Meet Cute in flashbacks. So like you meet when you're kids.
Oh!
He's like that guy where you meet on the playground. I don't know how, but you meet on the playground. And then the movie is all about how you're still best friends and he's been in love with you since you were little kids. And like you don't find out until the end.
That is a great Meet
So
Cute.
it's like a long game Meet Cute. Also, the only movie I could think of.
Long game
Long
Meet
game. The only movie I could think of is Win a Date with Ted Hamilton, which is a lesser known
I've actually seen that
rom-com
movie. Yes.
that I really like. It's super goofy.
I'm still thinking of like long game. Like he's like the 401k of Meet
You
Cutes.
invest in this relationship, and then when it matures, am I saying
You both retire.
financial words? Yeah.
on a beach in Maui.
Stability is what we're saying. It's like he knows you better than anybody. You're best friends, and then he ends up being the person you
Did
fall
you
in love with.
ask me if you were saying the right financial
Did I
words?
say correct financial words? That's right. A 401k matures, right? No, I don't know if that's right or not. I can't tell if she's laughing because obviously it's right or like it's so wrong. She's ashamed of me.
It's so right. It's just so funny. I think Megan is the Suga of financial business.
I hope I sleep through it.
She's like, I don't know what I'm talking about. And I'm like, you liar.
Becca is my financial analyst. Like, so I have a 401k. It took me 3 years to set up my 401k at my job before I was like, I filled out one form and set up my 401k. So I finally did it. And then it's like a complicated story. We got bought by different companies. So we had to fill out one form to transfer our 401ks. I've worked for this company for 2 years and I still haven't transferred my 401k. Well, I have two accounts and one isn't doing anything.
You just need to roll it over into your new 401k.
It literally would take me 15 minutes. And that includes the time it takes to drive to the mailbox, like put a stamp on an envelope and put it in the mailbox and drive back to my house.
Do you want me to come over tomorrow and do it for you?
Just do it for
I'll
me.
do it
I don't
for
want to
you.
do it.
I'll do it. I'll be your financial
It's
advisor.
so
I'll
hard.
come over and help you get that taken care of.
I don't want to. Oh, it makes me tired just thinking about it.
Growing up is the worst.
So anyway.
I love that idea. All right.
Wait, tell me. I just blanked. What was the rom-com you said?
Pretty Woman or Bridesmaids?
Bridesmaids.
How
that's
could you
right.
blank on that?
I feel like I totally get the argument for Pretty Woman, but I want to vote for Bridesmaids because that is as animated as J-Hope.
Yes.
There's as much screaming in it as I feel like is necessary for a J-Hope thing. Like when she's on the plane freaking out and she's like screaming, that I feel like that's what sells it for me, because you got to have like a certain amount of hysterical screaming to be a J-Hope.
To be a J-Hope film.
Yeah.
All right, RM. Okay, besides J-Hope, who I kind of had trouble with, RM was tricky, and then I really got into it, and I was like, why was this tricky? RM is the easiest one. So
he's the one I could picture actually being in a romantic comedy. Out of all of these people,
I could too.
He has that soulfulness of a romantic lead.
Okay, so the first one that came to mind for me was Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Oh, good.
Which is like a dark rom-com.
Yeah, it's like your second version of the Sugar one.
Yes.
Yes,
it is. And it was one of the first romantic comedies. Can we call it a romantic comedy?
I feel like it falls into a certain category of romantic comedies. Yes.
And I feel it was the first one I saw where I was like, this is perfect. I thought the movie was perfect.
Yes.
I thought it was so beautiful, and you have to think when you watch it, which is something RM would want you to do.
Yes. It makes you contemplate so many
every level
aspects
of
your
love
life.
and loss and heartbreak, and it's just, if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. I think it's a wonderful film. But then the other one that came to mind, which is very one you don't have to think about, I said Bridget Jones's Diary.
Oh my God, I love that movie so much too. Of all the movies I've seen in my life, I've seen that movie the most times.
Because I think he's similar to Bridget Jones, because she's just clumsy and
never sure exactly what she's doing.
And I feel like she thinks she has to take care of everybody, but she can't.
It's in the most endearing way. All the things that she does, quote unquote, wrong are in a way where you're so relatable.
Yes.
And you just get it. And you're like, you are the woman of the 21st century.
Yes. So that to me was RM. Either one.
Answer.
Completely different movies.
But I totally get it.
But I feel like it either could represent RM if he was a rom-com.
Such good options. Side note, I think Michel Gondry was the director of Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Michel Gondry. Look it up.
You should follow him on Instagram because he does these crazy animations that are hilarious and delightful. He's so smart.
Oh.
I could be wrong. This could be completely unrelated, but
I can't wait.
I think it's him. Anyway, so for RM's Meet Cute, similar to J-Hope, this would be like a long game Meet Cute where you meet not face to face at the beginning. So we're talking like Sleepless in Seattle, he listens to your Spotify playlist or something, and you start emailing each other, and you go the whole time trying to find each other, and you don't meet till the very end of the movie.
You are giving me some hardcore secret message vibes.
Yes.
The K-drama.
Just like that.
And I can totally see him doing that role.
Because he's such an intellectual, and he's such a deep thinking person. I just feel like he would become so consumed and fulfilled by this idea of a person that's what's romantic.
Yes.
You don't even have to see them face to face. It's that learning to love someone without even really knowing who they are. That's RM for me.
All right, one more side note. We have so many side notes.
Side notes are the best.
We had to wait to podcast because my husband and son were at baseball practice and it apparently ran over. So Megan and I had to take care of my other two children. And I was like, hey, let's go get coffee. We got coffee over an hour ago, and I'm just now taking my first sip.
Are you serious?
I hate scalding hot beverages.
God.
I like them warm, but they burn my tongue. Megan, I don't know if we said this, Megan can drink fire, and it's not hot enough for her.
I want it to burn going down.
We're so different.
I have spent so many years drinking stuff that's way too hot. It's because I'm impatient. I just don't want to wait for it.
Do you just burn off all your taste
buds?
I
don't feel anything
anymore. This is
anymore.
still a little warm for me. I'm gonna manage, but
mine
is yours gone? Yours is probably gone.
There's still some in mine, but it's basically iced tea in my opinion at this point. But I mean, it's lukewarm. But no, anyway. I like it. I'm an extra hot kind of gal.
It's just another example where you're either Rebecca or
Some
Megan.
like it hot, and it's Megan. That's another great Meet Cute. The guys pretend to be ladies, and they join a female band because they're running away from the mob.
Everybody loves gender benders.
You got it, you guys. If you haven't seen Some Like It Hot, do yourself a favor. What a weird movie. Best last line of a movie ever.
What is it?
Spoiler alert, if you plan on watching this classic film from the 50s.
Let's hear it.
So Jack Lemmon and Lee. Oh, God. The other guy. They're running away from the mob. They're musicians. They dress up like women, join a women's band, go to Florida. They meet Marilyn Monroe. Other guy falls in love with Marilyn Monroe. Jack Lemmon, first, of course, some kooky old millionaire falls in love with Jack Lemmon because he thinks he's a woman. And they're like on a speedboat at the end. And Jack Lemmon's finally like, I'm a man. And the crazy old millionaire's like, nobody's perfect. And then it ends. It's so good. Yeah. He's literally like, nobody's perfect. It's fantastic.
That's amazing. Yet to see it.
We'll have to have an old movie marathon.
Speaking of somebody who is beautiful like a woman but actually a man, let's move on to Jimin.
An unparalleled beauty. Jimin.
So you guys, also, if you listen to our podcast at all, you know Jimin roped me into BTS.
You know how there's like a pedestal? Well, above the pedestal is another pedestal, and that's where we put Jimin.
Yeah, we idealize him.
We think he's basically perfect.
He's the perfect.
He's a perfect human
angel.
Yes, we adore him.
So when you asked me to do a rom-com for Jimin, I just feel like no matter what I do, it's not going to be good enough. But I did come up with one, and it is Dirty Dancing. Because there is nothing I want more in this world than for Jimin to walk into a crowded room and say, nobody puts Becca in the corner.
I can easily picture Jimin wearing that tight black Patrick Swayze t-shirt. Just walking in.
I thought you were going to say the tight black Patrick Swayze pants with no shirt.
Oh, yeah. Let's picture that instead. That's just as good of a picture. That is the easiest role to see him fill.
Is Dirty Dancing.
Oh, yeah.
It's the only thing I can think of.
It's like when they're practicing in the lake.
Body structures. They're wicked talented in dancing.
Patrick Swayze is like a surprisingly sensitive character in Dirty Dancing.
I dig it.
Do you know what's funny about Dirty Dancing?
You tell me.
I will. Let me tell you, Becca. I first watched it when I was in junior high school.
All right.
And I was like,
That's pretty risque for a junior high school
My friend
student.
Sarah's parents let us watch anything.
Wow.
They let us watch Stripes. And I remember going home and be like, my parents would not let me watch this movie.
My dad let me watch that when I was in elementary school because that's his favorite movie.
It's a great movie.
I thought women were allowed to not wear shirts in movies because of the movie Stripes.
My dad still asks me never to watch American Pie. Like, he's still like, please don't watch that movie. And I'm like, okay. So I've never seen it. But I watched Dirty Dancing in junior high. I thought, this is the greatest movie I've ever seen in my life. Watched it again as an adult and was like, what is this movie?
I have a lot of questions.
Jerry Orbach is in it, and I love him.
There's like a botched abortion.
Yeah,
I mean, it's dark.
Super, like, you're like, oh, look, this fun movie about dancing. Holy moly.
If you really peel back the layers, it's kind of dark.
I think in junior high, I didn't really know what was happening. Like, I didn't process, so I was really just focused on the, like, nerdy girl, handsome dancer. It's the perfect combination for love.
Well, I still feel like it's like not the perfect movie for Jimin. That's the only one I could think of. The only other one that even came to mind was Love Actually.
Great movie.
Starring way too many celebrities to even mention.
Everyone that's ever been on any television screen.
And the only reason that makes me think of Jimin is because there's something for everybody in that movie.
Yes.
And it's so... You look at that movie and... Again, when you peel back the layers, I'm like, it's so cheesy. I should hate this movie.
But it's great.
But it's great.
You know what it is? It's because it's every love story you could ever imagine. And Jimin is like, he is whatever you want.
Yes. He's an ENFJ.
He's an ENFJ.
He'll make you happy. Anything that's going to make you happy, he'll fulfill it.
Any happiness role that you need him to. I feel like in life, you're just like, you know what makes me happy right now? Jimin. And that's with Love Actually. You know what love story I want? That one.
Those are some of my favorite memes on Tumblr when they're like BTS is all sitting together in a row and the interviewer goes down the line, is asking them all of a question, and then all of a sudden they get to like Yoongi or V or somebody and they just go Jimin, and then everybody looks at him and they're like, oh, I'm sorry, what was the question? Like, everybody just has Jimin on the
Everyone's obsessed with Jimin.
So I'm dying to know, what's your meet cute?
So this one for me was easy. This was my first one. So it's that high school where the girl like turns her head and everything starts moving in slow motion, and the best looking guy in high school is walking down the hall in slow motion, backlit by a rosy light.
Yes.
First time she sees her first love.
A stray wind blows through his hair as he's walking.
Everyone adores him. Everyone's mouth is gaping wide open as they watch his beauty descend upon them. So I was thinking, like, that 16 Candles, like, you've been in love with him since the first time you saw him.
Yes.
He secretly has a crush on you, and you have no idea, and your paths don't cross until, again, the very end, when it's like, ugh, Jake Ryan, man. What a great, like, beefcake character.
Megan and I have like hearts shooting out of our eyeballs right now.
Jimin.
Why is
Jimin? It's because he just seems genuinely like the best person.
There's something about him.
Even when he gets sassy, I've never seen a moment where I was like, all right, rein it in. Or like, I don't know you're being kind of a jerk right now. Never. When he's being a jerk, it's because he's right. Like, whoever's being a jerk to is being a bigger jerk.
And he's an ENFJ, so he's always right.
Have we mentioned that Becca is an ENFJ? And it is the superior MBTI. We're
educating
with this, guys.
You would think that we are sponsored by the Myers-Briggs personality test.
And Subway. If you haven't heard our exciting news about the Myers-Briggs, excuse me, personalities. I'm choking again. Becca and Jimin are the same personality type, and V and I are the same personality type.
And it makes so much sense.
It makes so much sense.
Speaking of V, if V...
Very curious what you would say about V.
If V were a rom-com, again, I had a little bit of trouble, but then once I started thinking about it, I was like, okay.
This one was hard for me.
I said, hear me out on this. I said Wedding Crashers with Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn.
Oh, I already am on board with this.
Because life is not a party until V is there. Like, V is just I'm here, I'm innocent and sweet,
yes.
I'm a little immature for, like, the crowd I'm hanging out with, but in a pure way.
Yes.
Like, I'm not irresponsible, immature. I'm just, we're going to be very childlike and have fun with this.
That's perfect.
And so I thought of Wedding Crashers. The only other one I could think of was My Best Friend's Wedding with Julia Roberts.
I love that movie too.
But I don't think that he would be Michael, the main lead. I think he would be her gay best friend, George. And I'm not commenting on V's sexuality here.
I forgot all about Rupert
But
Everett
George
in that movie.
makes everything better in that movie.
He's the best part of that movie.
He's like the sweetest, most innocent best friend that she can have. And he just knows how to bring her up in the bad situation.
That is the love story of that movie.
It's the friendship.
Because
it's the friendship at the end.
It's their friendship.
Yes.
That it sustains her. And I always really liked that about that movie. I used to hate movies where the guy and the girl don't end up together because I thought that's not how it's supposed to happen. But that movie was the first time where I was like, this is cool because I get that she's still going to be okay. Mm-hmm. She's still going to be happy.
Because she has George in her life.
The first time, spoiler alert, guys, the first time my mom made me watch Roman Holiday, I was ready to throw that movie at her face because I was like, what the heck is this? I don't know if you've seen it. It does not end the way you think it's going to end. But I love a bittersweet ending now. So I love that. That's such a good point because you're right.
It's just he just makes everything better.
The two of them are the foundation of that movie. Like, who even cares about the other guy?
Yep, I love it.
He's in the past.
And if it's Wedding Crashers, I feel like it's him and Jungkook. They are the two.
Okay,
guys.
all right. No, somebody drop the contract now. Because I can't go any longer without seeing that.
Let's greenlight this son of a gun.
That's incredible.
Call their agents.
Incredible. I'm ready.
All right. A meet cute, though, with V. What do you got?
So I said it has to be something with a crazy misunderstanding.
Yes.
So we've already established this is my favorite romantic comedy, but I feel like it has to be, he tells somebody in a coma he's engaged, or he tells the family of someone in a coma he's engaged with the guy in the coma, or the girl in the coma, whatever. So like while you were sleeping, it has to just be a crazy like there's so much going on and nobody knows who's who, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh my goodness, we're in love. Like,
I guess this is my life now. So he's the Goom John B.
He is the Goom John. This is my life now. Because he's just like, doesn't want to upset anybody by telling them that he's not actually who he thinks he is. So he just goes along with it. By the end of the movie, he's married.
I love it. I can see that realistically happening.
Yeah, because he is kind of like a go with the flow sort of person who never wants to hurt anybody. Mm-hmm. And is very emotional and feels things very deeply and is very empathetic. And I feel like that's what it is, where he's just like, you mistake him for somebody else. He doesn't know how to correct you, so he just goes along
and
with
he's
it.
too nice to correct you.
And like he gets in too deep. He thinks it's not going to be a big deal, but by the time, like halfway through, he's in too deep and he's also falling in love with you. And then that's happily ever after.
All right, let's go to the baby of the group. Megan's sweet Jungkook. What you got?
You got to go first.
So I said as a rom-com. All right. You're going to hate me on both of these. And I didn't put, like, look who's talking or whatever.
Oh, my God. Look who's talking. I haven't thought about that movie in years.
So I've never seen it.
It's The Parent Trap, but he's Haley Mills.
I put High School Musical.
Becca.
Because, no, but for good reason.
Okay, actually, I'm listening.
I've never seen High School Musical.
Yeah, me neither. Just kidding. I've seen it many times.
But I think Zac Efron is a very good-looking man.
Oh, yeah.
And he's a man that's supposed to be playing a high schooler, so I feel conflicted about thinking that he's a good-looking man. And that's kind of how I feel about Jungkook.
Oh, my God. You know what? Another one would be great. You just made me think of this. Zac Efron did. He's in this movie called 17 again.
Oh, I have seen the previews, but I haven't seen the movie.
That'd be perfect for Jungkook because it's about a grown man in a 17-year-old's body, but it'd be like the opposite. It'd be like a 17-year-old in a grown man's body for Jungkook.
That would be perfect.
Because you're look like an adult, but
if I knew anything about that movie,
like one.
I would have picked that one. I also, the only other one I thought I could even somewhat come up with was The Wedding Singer with Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore.
I love that movie.
Because I feel like he's very sweet, but he just looks one way, but on the inside, he is a very different way. And in that movie, Adam Sandler's character, Robbie Hart, is like the best,
really confident wedding singer.
But he's really just like a depressed, down and out softie.
Overly romantic.
Yeah.
Can get just crushed by a girl.
He falls in love with Julia
Gulia.
So those were the only two I could think of.
Now I just want to talk about rom-com starring Drew Barrymore. Just never been kissed.
A million.
I just wanted to say it out loud. Never been kissed.
There's a million.
Go watch. It's the best. It makes no sense in hindsight. It's one of those movies that, again, I watched it millions of times. I'm like, this movie's amazing. And now I'm like, I don't know. Her teacher definitely had a crush on her before I knew she was 24. I haven't questioned this. But anyway, I digress.
All right, what you got for Meet Cute?
So I had it would have to be something where you're randomly paired together. Mm-hmm. And again, I had a whole lot of trouble thinking of an example until I came over this evening and was sitting on the couch with your daughter watching Frozen. And it would absolutely be like you pay him to drive you somewhere.
Yes.
Because or like the movie Leap Year. Have you seen that?
No.
Where Amy Adams goes to Ireland because, oh God. Ugh. She goes to Ireland because in a leap year, a woman can propose to a man.
Oh.
Because it's physically impossible any other kind of year
we're living in.
All right. So I've made fun of it. I love it. I've watched it millions of times. I mean, it's so cheesy, but it's great. And her flight gets diverted to Dingle, Ireland, and she needs this handsome, strapping, grumpy stranger to drive her to Dublin. So it's like that, where it's like you meet and you hire him, I was going to say to perform a service. I'm going to be more specific. I'm going to be more specific and say to drive you somewhere.
Okay.
And you hate each other at first. It's a strictly kind of an unpleasant business relationship.
Yes.
Just like in Frozen. But then it becomes more as you go on a journey together.
See, Kristen Bell opens up the door for you
Kristen
in all of these situations.
I love her so.
Megan came over. The first thing she said when she saw that we were watching Frozen was, "Oh, I love Kristen Bell."
I love Kristen Bell. She's my favorite ever. I always say to Allison, "Who's the best character in Frozen?" And she goes, "Elsa." And I'm like, wrong. It's Anna.
Megan asked my daughter that as she's wearing an Elsa costume to bed tonight. And I was like, I don't know what answer you thought you were going to
convince her eventually. Anna is a much better character.
All right, let's dig into these male... SMLS, second male lead syndrome. This was also a request. Somebody had asked us if we could discuss this because it is a very common disease in the K-pop community.
Happily, we will discuss this because I feel like I text Becca once every 2 weeks, like, I got a bad case of second male lead syndrome.
It's like every day.
It's almost always. And so we weren't even exactly sure where to start because there are so many examples. I feel like we could, there are hundreds of examples.
So we thought we would start with, and again, I'll just kind of point you, I'll be your GPS.
Thank you, because otherwise we're going off the road.
Yes.
You mean Jungkook's going to drive. Jungkook, take the wheel.
Megan has paid him for professional service.
Until he falls in love with me. I don't care how far we have to drive.
So we thought we would first give an example, or a few examples if you need to, of second male leads who stole your heart. Where it's done very well.
And
because you can do second male lead syndrome very well, and there's also some very prominent examples of not doing it well.
And I feel like mine are a balance because it's almost like, what do you mean by doing it well? Because I feel like they're doing it badly because they make me like the second male lead too much. To the point where then I'm like, I don't care about the lead.
So let's talk about that.
Let's start with She Was Pretty.
Yeah,
because that was on both of our lists.
Yes.
Park Seo-joon is fantastic.
He is.
He is a great actor. He's a dreamboat.
Again, if we kind of said that fast. We're talking about the K-drama She Was Pretty.
Sorry, She Was Pretty.
Yes.
And I want to say Park Seo-joon actually gave me second male lead syndrome in Kill Me, Heal Me.
Yes.
Big time.
Oh.
Big time second male lead syndrome.
That movie. See, I got movies on the brain. That show, you guys. Oh, it's so good.
He almost ruined that show for me because I liked him so much. I was like, why would you deal with this guy that is a lot of baggage?
A lot of baggage.
When you got Park Seo-joon right here.
And he loves you.
And he really is in this. Like, you cannot lose, really. So, but I didn't put him on my list. But She Was Pretty. He's the lead.
Right.
And to give you a very quick synopsis, basically, he and Hwang Jung-eum's character knew each other as children, and she was beautiful. She was like a glowingly beautiful little girl. And then she just grew up to be
and he was fat.
And he was,
which
of
is,
course.
If you are familiar with K-dramas, that's like a sin.
He's like,
you cannot be
and
fat.
He's awkward and has no friends.
And he's just not good, no good social skills.
No, and that does not get better as he gets older. He's still like pretty antisocial, but this beautiful girl in school befriends him and is so kind to him because even though Hwang Jung-eum's character grows up to be not as pretty, she's kind of homely. And that's the thing. She's not ugly. She's just like, they don't make her up a lot. Her hair is like kind of out of control.
So her hair is frizzy. She's got freckles. It's very, for Korean beauty standards, it's not attractive.
Not the standard.
The ideal.
It's not the standard.
Yes.
And, but she's still just as beautiful on the inside as she was as a little kid, which is the whole point of the show. So anyway, he moves to like the US or something, very far away, and they lose touch. And then he moves back to Korea now that they're adults and he wants to meet up. But then, so she's like, yeah, absolutely. Because she remembers this chubby little kid. When she sees that he's Park Seo-joon, she suddenly is too hard on herself and is like, I don't want him to see what I look like now.
Because he has aged very nicely.
He is a fine wine.
Yes.
And so she like convinces her friend to stand in for her. Which the other great thing about that show is the girlfriend aspect, like the two, Hwang Jung-eum and her best friend.
Their girl friendship is goals.
It's awesome.
Yeah. They have the best breast.
They're bosom buddies.
They have the breast friendship.
The breast friendship.
In a K-drama.
They do, and it was, they need to write that in more. Great female friendships, they need more friendships like that. But anyway, so things get muddy because, of course, he ends up being her new boss.
Oh,
of course.
It's a couple meet cutes all in one.
It is, and he doesn't. It's not that he doesn't remember her. He remembers her, but he doesn't realize she's the girl he remembers. Because he thinks he's already met that girl, and she's still stunningly beautiful.
Yes.
Okay.
Enter
Choi Si-won of Super Junior.
Megan's lost all words. She can't breathe.
He He's a fellow coworker and, of course, a secret, brilliant,
like
billionaire
author
and rich guy.
Yeah.
Living in a hotel.
Nobody knows that, though.
No. But he sees Wang Jung-eum walking into work. And she's like got goofy pants on and she's wearing white socks.
And the whole time he calls her Jackson.
Because she's wearing white socks like Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson's outfit. It's the cutest thing.
And he, from the moment they meet, he loves her. Like, he just thinks she's the best thing. And I think it starts out as he just thinks she's great. Like, very funny, very genuine,
right,
cute. But he grows to love her just as she is.
Mm-hmm.
Just the person that she is. Doesn't matter
the way she
what
already
she looks
looks.
Like. He loves all of it. He's kind of a unique, goofy character too. He's really happy and very warm and kind. And the whole time you're just like, the guy she ends up. I mean, Park Seo-joon's character is a total jerk to her because he like calls her incompetent at work and he's mean and hard on her, and it's just like brutal because the whole time she knows that they're who he really is and their relationship they had when they were kids. So you're just like, come on, woman, this gorgeous statuesque man is in love with you and you're still not giving into it.
He is so handsome. And I know, guys, it's not all about being handsome, but the character, he is the character.
Yes.
Which, again, I think we've said before, it sounds like such a cliche thing to say.
Right.
But he really becomes this character.
And he just creates this brilliant character who is so easy to fall in love with that the whole time I'm just like, what are you doing, girl?
Mm-hmm.
You have the perfect option right here.
It's unfortunate that she does not end up with him.
I didn't finish the last episode because I was in denial.
But it is definitely the classic case of you want the second male lead.
Textbook. Because
the girl.
In my opinion, he is genuinely a better option.
Mm-hmm.
He is just a kinder person who she doesn't have to do anything. Mm-hmm. And maybe I'm misremembering. Maybe Park Seo-joon's character has that in him too, but he's just so hard on her and mean to her for so long that by halfway through, I'm like, I don't even care what happens with this couple anymore. I'm living for the scenes with Siwon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't have any commentary on that because you've said everything that should be said.
Yeah. There's nothing to say.
He should have ended up.
We can't change it.
Megan is. She looks like she's just lost a pet.
And that's why I don't believe in love.
If you could see her face, guys, I'm dying.
Have you seen Charlie Brown when he's sad? That's what I look like.
All right. Did you have any others where you just... Okay, we've already discussed, if you've listened to one of our first podcasts, Megan has a total mental breakdown on air about Reply 1988 and how little Takey ends up with the girl.
Here's the thing. How would you like to think, finally, you're on board with the first male lead and you're going to finally get the happy ending you deserve, only to find out the first male lead the whole time was actually the second male lead? What kind of bait and switch is that? I'm screaming. Are your kids asleep? I'm sorry. And the Reply series is actually classic for this whole first lead, second lead thing because they do this thing in all of them where you like, who's the husband? So you know she's going to end up with one of two people and you don't know who it is till the end. And I think 2 of the series caused riots when they ended.
Reply 1988, Reply 1994, Reply 1997. And 2 of the 3.
94.
The second... The guy that you are cheering for, everybody in the world is cheering for, ends up just being kind of tossed off the show.
And
the worst character is all of a sudden they're like, oh, he's the first male lead. Just kidding.
Yeah, psych. I'm gonna be honest with you. I watched 88 first, so then before I watched 94 and 97, I was like, okay, I need to go into this knowing. Because I'm not doing this again. I'm not doing it again. I went through too much the first time. So 97 was exactly what I wanted because the second male lead was like, come on, please. It's never going to be him. And 94 is difficult because I like both of them. Mm-hmm. And I see why people were mad, but I also was not personally that upset about it. But anyway, anyway. It was a big surprise for a lot of people, apparently. And it sucks, guys.
It's awful. It's awful.
It's terrible.
All right. The only one that I could think of, so there were a few where I was like, okay, the second male lead has definitely gotten my attention. I'm not necessarily...
Because this doesn't happen to you that often, right?
No, again, I'm fickle. So when I pick a drama, it's usually like, who's the lead actor? Mm-hmm. And ever since Reply 1988, I have to know going in who's really the lead actor and who should I be cheering for. So the only shows that I could think of, and I think I've talked to you about it, Best Hit, which is one of your favorite shows.
Yep, absolutely. And I totally am on board with that.
I did not know anything about that show going in. Megan just said she loved it, so I started watching it, and I immediately, like 6 episodes in, was like, oh, I clearly know who the male lead is. Mm-hmm. And then only to find out, like 3 more episodes down the line, oh, he's the second male lead. I had no idea that he was the second male lead. He was written, I feel like he had more lines than the first lead did.
And their interactions, he and the lead female character, their interactions are like great, romantic, like
charged moments.
Yes. These two people belong together. And then time travel. Am I right?
And then time
travel messes everything up.
Well, and the complicated thing about that show is technically the first male lead then's like way older than her.
Okay.
He's like 50.
I gotta be honest with you. There are like a handful of questions where I'm like, I am bothered that these are unanswered. Because like, yeah, he's like in his 50s, technically.
He looks like he's her age.
He's also like technically dead. And he's also technically her best friend / former love interest's dad.
Father.
Like, I thought for sure they were going to be like, he's not really the father. Surprise, it was this guy all along. That did not happen. So it was like a giant, like, I feel like the show was good enough that I was like, that's fine. I'll just pretend I don't care.
We're not going to know how we got this.
It's best not to ask questions.
Yeah. It's kind of like shopping at Walmart when you really need something and you know you can only find it at Walmart. And I'm like, but I have ethical questions about how this got here and who made it and who's actually getting the profits and why aren't your employees paid more? Yeah. But you're like, but I just really need this.
I have to buy this thing.
Yeah. That got deep and political.
Well, but the other thing about the Best Hit is like they kind of explain like, well, me and that guy aren't the same guy, really. Like that guy died and then I'm like a new guy and you're like, oh, okay, all right, you tried. But like, again, technically now his like ex-girlfriendish best friend kind of person is his stepmom.
I just have so many questions.
Very complicated.
But they all lead back to second male lead syndrome.
Second male lead's like,
where
I'm sick of confusing emotions a lot of the time.
And I actually thought of one that I didn't necessarily have. Because you know that I was a hoe for Lee Min-ho.
You are a Lee Min-ho.
But you fell for Kim Woo-bin's character in Heirs, which hardcore.
How much do I hate myself for that?
But now that I look back and think about it, if you haven't seen Heirs, it's a great show. We call it the Korean OC because it's very similar to the American OC show. But I don't know, like Kim Tan as a character is so messed up.
He is
and his whole family, I mean, it's just baggage upon baggage upon baggage.
Well, like, the lead female's mom works for his family, and that's, like, a complicated thing.
And they treat her, I don't know, it's just weird. And there's a lot of elitist, misogynistic behaviors.
This is, like, I had second male lead syndrome, but for all the wrong, opposite reasons I usually have it, because Kim Woo-bin's character is not a good option. He is so unstable.
But I think his family life is better.
No, his dad, like, beats him up all the time.
He still provides for him.
Well, I mean, God.
Kim Tan's dad sent him to America when he got sick of him.
That's true. Not a great example of parenting in this show. The show is very complicated.
It's questionable.
Why can't I think
all
of Kim
around.
Woo Bin's name in that show? It's a good name.
Something, isn't
Choi.
it? I'm gonna look it up. But yeah,
It's such a good name.
He's very attractive, and I just felt like he was I don't know. I thought, looking back now, I think maybe he was a better character.
He's like that horrible ideal that I wish that I could just banish from my system of like a horribly cruel, dark, mean character who like, I can change. Love will change him. Not great. Don't do that. That's not a great ideal. Like,
Choi Young-do.
That's right.
Yeah.
Choi Young-do. That's he was. I mean, that character in that role like skyrocketed him to stardom because it is an incredible character. And the funny thing about Kim Woo Bin is he can play these like really conflicted, angry young men, but then when you hear him in interviews, he's like the sweetest, most beautiful person.
Oh, he's so sweet.
He's just wonderful.
I want to get to know him on a very personal level.
Oh, I feel like I could learn so much from him.
I feel like we have a lot to learn.
Yeah.
I have one more example of second male lead syndrome where I fell deeply in love, but I was so blinded by my current obsession with the male lead that I kind of overlooked it. But I recently went back and rewatched it and was like, how did I not fall harder for this second guy?
Be?
Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure?
No, I'm not sure.
Sungkyunkwan scandal.
Oh, how did I forget that one? Oh, you guys.
But I was so blinded. So if you haven't seen Sungkyunkwan scandal,
it's a great
show. I'm going to mess up all these names because I can never remember their names. I know it's Park Yoo-chun is the male lead.
Park Min-young.
Park Min-young is the
female lead.
Main female lead.
And Yoo-in.
Yoo-in
is the second male lead.
Second male lead. And Park Yoo-chun, you guys, I was in a big Yoo-chun phase at that point in time.
Stuff, yeah.
And I think I was like just binging all of his catalog of work at that point. And this was just kind of in the middle. But Yoo-in, his character is like perfect and lovely and strong and just this great character fighting for the rights of women and men and every education.
His character is a perfect
He's like a revolutionary person fighting for the rights of everybody. And then you have Park Yoo-chun, who's like a very strict, by the rules, no, but women are stupid.
Yes.
And it's like, why are you falling in love with this dodo bird? Like, why are you not looking at this other guy?
The guy right and like the whole time, because Yoo-in, so Park Min-young is pretending to be a man, so she's a scholar. She can go to Sungkyunkwan University. And it's
which
like
is only men were allowed to go to college. Yes. So she had to pretend, she's gender bender, had to pretend to be a boy to go to this college.
And Yoo-in is the first one to figure it out. And
how do they not all figure it out right away?
On.
She looks like a gorgeous model.
And her voice is like clearly a female voice, but it's fine. You can let a lot of things slide in K-dramas because you just want to see where this takes you.
Right.
But Yoo-in figures it out first, and then he's so like protective of her, but not in a demeaning way or not in a like condescending way.
No.
In a really kind,
like I want you to better yourself by staying here.
Yeah.
And I enjoy your friendship.
Like, and he clearly falls in love with her.
Oh, he's so good in that show. And it's another example where it's like, in reality, why would you not fall for him? Park Yoo-chun's character sucks.
He is such a jerk. And it takes him forever to warm up to her.
Yeah.
It's like the slowest of the slow burns.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure is why everyone's like, oh, yes, this is for me. Because everybody loves a slow burn and you love like winning somebody over. That's the whole thing. It's like winning over that person that can't be won over. Mm-hmm. What a victory.
Also.
But like Yoo-in's character is kind of like that too. He doesn't really trust or like people. And he opens up to her really fast.
It's great.
That's such a good example. I'm so glad you thought of that.
Thank you.
That's like the ultimate second male lead syndrome.
It's very understated because I think, again, Park Yoo-chun is just very, I don't know.
Well, there's never...
You're just drawn to him in a way. Like, there's something...
The character is very majestic.
Whatever it is, he has it. And you can't not look away from him.
And, like, I think Yoo-in has that, but Yoo-in has this vulnerability in all of his roles where he is just this, like, almost unreachable, beautiful soul. I love Yuain. I love
If you haven't
him.
watched Sungkyunkwan Scandal,
give it a watch.
It's a great watch.
You know what? It's one where they're not messing with you on the second male lead thing. He doesn't stand a chance.
No.
There's no question ever. She's never shows any interest in him romantically. And that's what makes it even worse, is because she's not giving him anything, and he's just so like purely in love with her that's enough.
Also, quick side tangent on the hat scene. So there are a few scenes in my friendship with Megan that have really gotten her riled up enough to be like, Becca, because she knows I don't like spoilers.
No.
I don't like spoilers at all. And so you usually don't tell me anything. The only scenes in the world that I think you've ever told me about were the beach scene in Shopping King Louie. And all you said was, it's at the beach. I can't wait for you to watch this scene.
When you see it.
You'll know it when you see it.
Beach.
It's so pure. It's so beautiful. And then in Sungkyunkwan Scandal, there's a hat scene.
It's an excellent scene.
Basically, again, you guys should know we're going to do spoilers
Yeah,
here.
spoilers.
So skip ahead if you don't want to hear it. Basically, when Park Yu-chun finally realizes
That it's a woman.
that it's a woman, and he's probably thinking, how am I dumb? Clearly, she has breast. Clearly, she's a woman.
I mean, they've literally been sleeping in the same room for like a year, and nobody's figured it out. So
he goes to take off her hat because they wear very traditional Korean scholar clothing
uniform
with the hat and the hairs in the bun and everything. All he does is untie. She has a tie. Her hat is tied onto her, like under her chin. All he does is reach up and untie the hat. And Megan was texting me. Like, I saved that text thread. It's one of my favorite things ever about the hat scene.
Sexy. It's so sexy. They are fully clothed in this scene. Like, there is no funny business. But it is so sexy. I cannot explain it. I, like, watched it wide-eyed.
Your face.
I paused it, took a minute, rewound it, watched it again, and then probably immediately texted you like, girl, you gotta see the hat scene. I've just been changed.
I'm not a girl. Not yet a woman.
Oh my God. That started playing out of nowhere while I just like contemplated my whole life. It is a memorable scene. It is very memorable.
Tears going down. I already got tears.
It's great. So now we know Megan's most important scenes: the hat scene, the beach scene, and the sax scene. The three most meaningful scenes to K-dramas.
So your ideal K-drama date would be a man untying a hat on you on the beach while
someone's playing the sax. Sax from all sides. I want some slow sax. I want some hot jazz. I want all the sax.
I think Noona Business needs to make a line of greeting cards.
They would be so specific. Again, I love how specific our references are. Where like we could make these, but like you and I could give them to each other, and that's it.
Nobody else.
We couldn't even give them to our immediate family because they'd be like, "What does this mean?" Because they don't listen to our podcast.
Happy birthday, Mom! I hope you get sacks from all sides.
She'll be like, "This is offensive. What's wrong with you?" Also, I want to say a quick thing. Shout out to Marilyn, who every time I'm like, because I get obsessed with the second male lead, and I'll be like, he's so cute, he's so great. And she'll be like, you need to get over it because he's not gonna win. She'll be like, get over it.
That's a good mom right there.
Get on the boat, Megan, because we're taking off.
All right. So we've already said, given you some great examples. Let's real quick. Let's list a few shows where we just did not care. The second male lead was supposed to mean something to us, and it did not mean anything to you.
I already said one. Reply 1997.
Uh-huh.
You gotta be kidding me with that one.
Really?
Because he's like...
Is that the show with Garbage?
No, that's 94.
Oh, okay.
That's 94.
I've yet to watch either of those.
That's the one where it's like, I feel like that one was of... And you can fight me on this because I know a lot of people didn't like the ending, but I thought 94, she couldn't lose. Like, both the options seemed really good to me.
Ooh.
Yeah, I liked Garbage and I liked the baseball player.
Like that there's a guy named Garbage.
Yeah, that's his nickname. Or Trash, depending on the translation. He's great. I really think he's pretty hot. He's great.
I have to watch that soon.
So 97, the two characters are Sungkyunkwan and then his older brother.
Ooh.
And she like dates the older brother for a while, and the whole time you're like, wait, what? I honestly felt like that to me, like, wait, what? This does not make sense. So for me, that one was like, okay, get past this weird brother stuff, because we all know where this is going to end. Actually, I want to say this about 1997 too. There are two second leads, the older brother, and then there's a second male lead for Sungkyunkwan. So he's like in love with the girl, but then his best friend, who's a man, is secretly in love with him.
Ooh.
And that's really, I mean, at the end of the day, like one of the most meaningful relationships in the show, because eventually, spoiler alert, the friend confesses to him, like, I'm in love with you. And they have a beautiful kind of, not confrontation, but moment where they kind of let that sink in and like go through it. And it's obviously pretty rare in KDramas. And it's just super well done.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, so it's really complicated. I would say there are second male leads on both sides of it.
Mm. All right, the only two I could think of, well, that I wrote down, I'm sure if I really looked harder, I could find more. Discovery of Romance.
Sungjoon.
I really liked that show.
Mm-hmm.
I know you didn't.
I didn't finish it.
The second male lead, I could have cared less about. It to me was like, I'm not even sure why you're in this show. And she kept going back to the second male lead. The second male lead was like her second boyfriend, her current boyfriend. But like, he's like basically open-faced cheating on her with this adopted sister. It's very complicated. There's a lot of complicated emotions, but she like catches him like buying clothes and bikes and taking this other girl out for meals. And it's like, whether you look at her as a sister or not, like, why are you still with this guy? Like, he meant nothing to me in that show. And it's one of the examples where I think they really wanted you to wonder, who is she going to end up with?
And the whole time you're like, this
and
is
I was
not
like,
a question.
she clearly is not going to end up with this dodo. Like, I just don't even know why he's in this show at this point.
Do you know, that also was kind of how I felt about Temperature of Love? Where at first I was like, okay, this is going to be complicated, but then the second male lead gets so bonkers and is like so out in left field about his desire to win that I'm just like, ugh, get him out of here.
Yeah.
He's just complicating the rest of the story. Didn't finish that one either. Fully intend to.
And then my unpopular opinion, again, because I think a lot of people I like this character, but in the show I was like, I don't know, it's Secret Garden. Oscar.
See, I never felt like he was ever a viable second male lead.
I think, but don't you get the impression they wanted him to be?
Yeah, because I feel like they actually, you know what's funny? That same actor who's delightful in Shopping King Louie.
Shopping King Louie is the second male.
Yeah. This isn't going to happen.
Yeah.
Why are we even throwing this a wrench in the works when it's so obvious? Like,
see, and so maybe that's where we just need to define what's like, okay, help us out, listeners, if anybody's still with us. What do you define? Did they get lost in the sacks? What do you define as second male lead syndrome? Just, is it a good show when you fall harder for the second male lead than you fall for the lead? Or is it a good show when the character falls harder and you just don't know who she's going to choose?
And I feel like that's it. That's the perfect show, is where you can have the lead and the second male lead, and it actually is a question where you're like, because usually for me, I'd rather she pick the second male lead, but you have to, if they can find that balance where I'm like, I don't know who she's going to pick because I don't know who I want to pick, and then they win you over with the lead, that's a good show. And I can't think of an example right now where that...
The only one I could think of was like maybe Master's Son, but I think it was pretty clear always who she was going to pick. But it was a great second male lead. I agree. Where you're like, he's so much better for you.
And I like both of you so much.
Yes.
Also, Greatest Love, I think, was like that. Where
I agree.
The second male lead was a great person who played a great role, and you loved him, but you never loved him more than you loved Doko-jin. You were sad when it didn't work out for him, but like Doko-jin was the one,
right?
And he eventually proved himself.
Ding dong,
hey ding dong.
Great trash and ding dong.
Trash and ding
there
dong.
There are some great side characters in K-dramas. So I feel like we have to talk really briefly then about why do they do this to us, Megan? Why, more importantly, why do these sweet angelic female leads Go for it.
Wait, I thought of another
Spit it
one.
out.
Sorry, I just have to put this out there because
No,
while
you
we're
got
on
very
the subject,
excited. You're getting me excited.
Did you watch Producer?
Yes.
That was another one where I'm like, wait,
Oh, that's
who
a
is
great
the lead
point.
in this?
That is a great point.
Because the whole time I'm like on board for this Noona romance with Kim So-hyun.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's look, you can't lose with Cha Tae-yeon. I love the guy. But I was kind of like, hold the phone here, people, because I don't know who the lead is. Because
that is a great example.
it was definitely a switcheroo at the end. Mm-hmm. And it was almost like a little bit anticlimactic for me. And I really liked that show.
That's
Sorry,
true.
I just wanted to put that one out there.
No, that is a great example. I forgot how much I love that show.
It's very different. It's a great one. I really loved it. There's this really romantic scene where Kim So-hyun, again, who you think is the lead the whole time, he buys Gong Hyo-jin a stuffed animal with like a recording in it, and he's going to give it to her and confess to her, and it's just like so sweet and great and innocent and beautiful. But part of the fun of that show is the fight over her, is the two guys fighting over her. But I was really on board with him.
You know who always wins in that show? Gong Hyo-jin.
You know who always wins?
Gong Hyo-jin.
Yeah. She is the best.
And she gets to decide in that show.
And actually,
is she going for an oppa or is this a Noona? Is this a Noona show?
I always pick a Noona show. Gong Hyo-jin, so Pasta is another good example where I think they did first male lead and second male lead well, where they gave you a character who the first male lead grew to win your heart, but the second male lead never overtook that love.
Right.
He was great and you loved him and appreciated him, but he never bypassed the lead.
That's a great example. Our first drama.
It was my first K-drama too.
Pasta. Good watch.
So, sorry, back on track.
Megan, why? Why does the female lead always pick the male lead over the second male lead? That's the problem.
The second male lead is almost always the kinder, better guy. Almost always. Mm-hmm. What's wrong with us ladies?
And here's the thing. And it's in a lot of, like, when we played our game at the beginning of the show, almost every romantic comedy that I mentioned, the guy ends up winning the girl by being slightly less terrible to her than he was at the beginning of the show. Whereas the second male lead has always gone above and beyond to her.
Consistently wonderful. Could not have done a better job of wooing her.
And she's like, I don't know, I'm just going to take a chance on this guy that's 99% of the time a total jerk to me.
Probably is going to make everything terrible and break my heart, but it's worth trying it out, I guess. And that's the other problem is they make the second male lead love her so much that you're like, there's no way he's going to survive this. Like at the end, they're like, oh, we can still be friends.
No, you can't.
Don't, come on. We're not stupid. He's not going to get over this.
I think She Was Pretty is a good example of that because Siwon just leaves.
He just can't.
He leaves the country.
Yeah.
He cannot deal with what happened.
Yes. Which, that is realistic.
Yes.
You can't have them both.
And
in so many K-dramas, she gets them both. Because, like, the second male lead's like, haha, you're right. We were meant to be good friends.
That's just not realistic.
Not real. I just finished Pretty Man with IU, and it's like that where she picks the guy who's like pretty terrible to her the whole time, and the second male lead is an angel on earth who would do anything to make her happy, and he's just like, I know you love this other guy, so it's cool. I'll just be over here loving you forever until I die.
If I had a nickel for
I mean,
every time,
common
I'd have
problem.
0 nickels.
Well, that's the other thing.
Nobody wants to be friends with their ex.
All these girls have 2 incredible options.
Again, unrealistic.
Most women don't have 1 incredible option. Not me included. I have an incredible option. But what I'm saying is, like, when you're in a romance, it's like 2 perfect men fighting over me. Common problem in the Korean drama.
And I don't know. When I realistically remove myself from the drama, because in real life I hate drama, but in my dramas I love angsty, mad, tension-filled drama. But I do. When I step back, I think, why? I have so much respect for you as the main female character. Why do you not have higher standards for yourself?
It's the Mr. Darcy effect.
It is. It makes me sad.
It's that, like, cultural thing for all women everywhere where it's like, I can fix it.
This is a challenge.
I can change him.
He's a little bit unpredictable,
Sure,
and I
he
like that
sucks,
thrill.
But that's because I haven't met him yet.
Mm-hmm.
And once he realizes that I'm the best thing ever, he'll be like, oh, I'm fixed.
I will change. You gave a great example of they're actually like Beauty and the Beast, where he's literally and figuratively a monster.
He is an actual monster.
He's a total monster.
Who locks her in a cage.
And it's like, you can't leave until we kiss. Like, oh my God.
Why is this the thing?
I don't know. Noise your body just.
I loved Beauty and the Beast, the cartoon. But then they came out with the live action one. And as soon as she shows up at the Beast Castle, I was like, oh, I can't watch this. This is too freaking weird. I feel like I was the only person who thought it was weird.
I also thought it was weird. I have yet to do it.
It is too much.
And then can we also say, I need to give a big, I keep bumping the table.
I'm
sorry if I'm making all this noise.
I'm also
in the
like
microphone.
screaming into the microphone. Sorry if I'm way loud, guys. I'm just very excited.
I need to give a shout out to all of the actors, even the ones I made fun of for not doing a good job of, again, side note, that might be the writer's fault, not the actor's fault. Of course, I digress. I need to give a shout out to them because if you look at these dramas, the second male lead usually has a much harder task of acting. The male lead just has to do the look.
Just has to be aloof, yeah.
Just has to give a look. They're usually rich. They usually have some sort of family drama or personal drama or work drama, or they have some sort of childhood thing that they can't get over.
Right.
Never you mind that the female lead probably has bigger issues in her life and she's acting like a normal,
the male
functioning
lead's
human.
mom is tearing down all of her homes.
But she's still functioning
She's doing
just
great.
fine.
She doesn't even seem fazed by it.
But all these shows win you over because the guy gives the girl that look.
Yep.
That look when she's not looking, he'll just glance at her. And it's that tension-filled look. And if an actor can just master that look, Lee Min-ho is a great example. Gong Yoo, another great example. I'm not saying they can't act other emotions.
No, they're
but
great.
They have nailed down that look. So then their male lead character is set. As long as the male lead can do the look, he gets the girl. Whereas the second male lead is like C1, and she was pretty.
Yeah.
Jumping motorcycles to like chase after her when he thinks her car broke down. He crashes. He's hurt. He's trying to act out all these emotions, and it's like
she gets a
this
makeover.
Is so not fair.
So that she looks like normal, and he's like, "Why did you do this?"
Yes!
To her? Like he's like, "You were so perfect before." The man is like all over the board in this show.
It's great,
and it's perfect.
And meanwhile, the male lead's like, "Oh, you did a makeover. I'm gonna pay attention to you now."
I gotta say,
how does she not pick
it also makes me mad that always these female characters are like, I had no idea that you were in love with me. Yet there is absolutely no way you had no idea these guys were in love with
never
you.
Once crossed
Like
your mind.
the shock that they were like, wait a minute. You didn't do all of those crazy things for me, no agenda, no strings attached, just 'cause for no reason?
It just does not compute.
I feel like the minute somebody you aren't into gets a crush on you, like every person has that little alarm bell that's like, ooh, back off this, because it's about to get weird. Unless you're a terrible person who's like, I could use this.
Also in that show, in every show, everybody around them knows that the second male lead has a crush on them. Somebody's going to let their tongue slip at some point.
Everyone outside of every K-drama relationship, like all the Dumbo office workers in every show are like so much better informed than everyone else. It's like, why didn't you just ask your secretary? Because she knew.
She knew.
The guy that cleans the office at night knew. Everyone knows but you. I do get sick of that lead female character thing being like, somebody's in love with me. And I think that does go a little bit back to like why we all fall for this horrible male lead, because it's that idea of like being seen where we're just normal gals. Like nobody notices us. We go about our day living our lives. We aren't picked out of a crowd. And that's the female lead in every K-drama. She's just a normal gal trying to get through her day, trying to make it. And then not only does someone see her, the most like the guy who doesn't see anyone sees her. And it's like the ultimate scene. You've been seen by the evil eye, like the most important set of eyes. And I think that's like...
And he still hates you, but you've been seen.
I mean, he saw you because you did something he was mad about. However, and I think that's kind of why I like shows like I've been on this Let's Eat kick, because it never really gets up. Like the male lead is just like a cool, nice dude. The female lead is just like a normal, cool lady. They just like each other, and it just happened. Like there's not this like, I'm a rich heir to a conglomerate and I hate everyone and I have trauma and I don't want to talk about it. It's just like, we're just people.
I like this. I still need to watch Let's Eat.
You should just skip the first one. Just watch the second one. It's so good.
I have so many shows on my list of things to watch and like no time.
What? You don't have time?
Help me find time.
What? You have no time? What are you talking about?
Well, I love that. Do you have any final wrap-up thoughts on
No, I feel like we started talking about that question of why do we fall for this guy and then totally went off on a tangent. I don't know if we ever answered it.
Well, I think it's like you said, the thrill of the chase.
It is. It's that, like, the unattainable is the goal.
And I think part of it, too, is maybe because I think we've probably all been in this situation. Don't be a K-drama character here. Be real with yourself. Where you know there's a super nice guy that likes you. And you don't, no matter how nice he is, you're just not drawn to him.
Which
you're
is
not
fair.
attracted to him.
Yeah.
It's happened in my life before. If I could go back in history and redo anything, it would probably be the way that I treated that guy, because I think I get what you just said. Like, all my bells were going off of,
like,
don't lead him on. Don't lead him on. Don't lead him on. And then you end up, like, backing off too much, and then it gets weird. But it's like, at what point... Yeah, it's
Where's
a whole
the line
thing. Where's the line?
And it's like, I get feeling guilty about it, but also, like, it's on him some for being
like, a little aggressive
too, and a little manipulative, because I feel like, and this happens in K-dramas where guys are like, but we were so close, but I'll just let me love you. Mm-hmm. You don't have to love me back. Just let me love you. No. Stop it.
Pass.
Just move on, dude. That was the thing with Pretty Man, where the second male lead was great, and then all of a sudden he was like being way too cool about the fact that she was never gonna love him. He's like, it's fine, I'll just keep loving you by myself. And it's like, I think she feels weird, man. You're making everybody feel weird.
But I think part of it is because the characters are written this way, but they're so nice.
Yes.
That it's understandable that a female lead would be like, well, I'm not into you.
Right.
Even though all of us are like, why are you not into him?
Yeah.
But I'm not into you, but I mean, it's nice to have you around. Like, I know you're not going to leave because you're super nice. And so I think maybe that's part of the appeal of not choosing the second male lead.
And if they chose the second male lead, they'd be able to decide that by the second episode, because he's clearly like at the front of the pack of guys who are good for you.
He is the A-list.
Like, seriously, Siwon, they would have had to have ended the show at episode 4, because she would have been like, wait a minute, why am I chasing this dum-dum? I got this hottie over here who loves me just the way I am.
He doesn't think I need makeup. He thinks I am perfect.
We're just going to go around being weirdos for life. So they're just a couple of weirdos who were like a perfect weirdo match.
Oh, I almost want them to rewrite the end of that show just to see what that relationship would be, because they were so fun together.
I always say that. I'm not even sure if Siwon is a good actor, because like when you're watching people act in another language, I think that it's hard for me to tell. Does that make sense? Like, some of the nuances, I don't know. It seems good. But he was so great in that role that it's like so unforgettable. And like Becca said, they run the whole spectrum of emotion, where he starts off really goofy and funny, kind of like a comic relief in that show. Mm-hmm. And then by the end, he's so deep and emotional, and like having to go through this whole acceptance process of he'll never be with her. Oh, it will just kill you.
Yeah, it's so great.
That's the ultimate second male lead for sure.
I would love to know, though, if you're listening and you have a favorite or least favorite SMLS moment.
Yeah, when it's worked or when it hasn't worked.
Mm-hmm. Because I feel like there's probably a lot more. And again, you and I have seen like 60. I've seen so 60 many now. So you've got to be up like 80 or 90 or 100 K-dramas.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there are hundreds that we're missing. But
yeah,
those are just the ones. Oh, no. I have one more really good example.
Ooh,
I'm sorry.
I love it.
Really quick, because I know we're running out of time. Scarlet Heart Ryeo.
Still haven't watched it. We'll never watch it.
Great show. First off, if you haven't watched that show, again, I only watched it because Drama Fever was really pimping that show out on social media. And I thought, okay, it's going to be good. And then I started reading reviews and I started reading tweets, and it was like constantly trending on my Twitter, things you might like or the suggestions of things I might like. And people seemed really, really into it. And so I was like, sure, I'll give it a try. Knew nothing about it. Didn't want any spoilers. First thing, 8 smoking hot guys in this show. They're all brothers. You cannot go wrong. We're talking about like an A-list cast.
It is a really
good
cast.
And one of the first scenes is, so the lead actress is IU, who's beautiful and talented in ways that I wish I had in my, like, just in her pinky. I would take the talent in her pinky if I could
incredible.
Just have it. And she walks in on like them all bathing because they're all princes. And they're all like, they've got their own private like spa area of this ancient castle. I guess you'd call it a castle. I don't know what you would call it, but yeah,
Where
fortress.
do I set up?
And so I was like, hold the phone. There's like 8 super attractive brothers. They're all shirtless. They're all swimming together. It's great. But guys, please tell me if you liked the show. I hated this show because I got to the ending. Better not be listening if you don't want spoilers.
Big spoiler.
She dies. She dies. And she dies in a way that she should not have to die. This is also a time travel. It's a time travel. She comes from the future, gets kicked way back to the Josian era, meets these 8 extremely attractive men, falls in love with the worst one. She falls in love with the worst option.
Wait, what? How unlike a K-drama.
Another unpopular opinion, the most unattractive brother. Now, I'm not saying he's unattractive in life, but if you lined them all up, he would probably be the one I would pick last.
Lee Jun-ki?
Yes.
I've never seen him in anything.
Do not understand why she picked him. And again, it's this whole thing of he's brooding and complicated and he's got baggage and he's like an exiled brother. It's a whole thing. But anyway, basically all 7 other men love her. They're all princes.
The 7th male lead.
They just, it's heartbreaking.
Never.
It is heartbreaking. The guy that you love is in it. The second male lead from Strong Woman.
Oh, I'm totally Jisoo.
Jisoo.
Yes.
He is in it. He pulls off the performance of a lifetime. Every single brother loves and adores her. And she dies waiting for this main one who clearly does not, I don't know, in my opinion, he supposedly loves her. I don't know how he would just let her die. Guys, I don't get it. I don't get it. I would love for somebody who loves the show to try to convince me to love it because it killed me. The show killed me.
I haven't seen it, but I can tell you now I hate it.
It's so dramatic.
It's so not the show for me.
It's even more dramatic than I care for. And I love nasty, dramatic shows.
I would love to do a podcast sometime where we talk about time travel ones with like the Joseon era stuff because some of the ways that they resolve the fact that this person is in the past or people from the past are in the present, you're just like, of all the options,
yeah,
this was how you figured it out. I feel like we could do a whole podcast on like the ending of time travel dramas.
Well, I'm going to spoil it for you because you'll never watch it.
Never.
She ends up waking up in the future.
So she dies in the Joseon era.
She dies
and then
she dies in the past, but wakes up in the future for just fine. And she's been like in a coma for a year.
And then
I don't know.
Does she meet a guy that looks exactly?
No. That's what makes this show so terrible. She like walks through the mall or a museum or something, and there's a painting of the guy that she loved that left her for dead as the king. So he was the chosen one that got, he was exiled. He was not supposed to take over the kingdom. And in the beginning of the show, like, he had a terrible reputation as like being a murderer and killing all these people in the country. But then when she wakes up, the history has rewritten itself, and he was a good king. And he brought good.
She made him a better man.
She made him a better man and made Korea a better place because she fell in love with him, even though he let her die. It's terrible. I hate it.
Oh my God.
Hate
this is like
about
Becca's
it.
reply 1988. She's like, forcing herself not to pound on the table right now.
I would have been fine. Honestly, I would have been fine if she met a guy that looked like him in the future. That's how much I hated the ending. I would have been fine with that being it. I hated the ending so much.
Honestly, if we do this podcast about time travel, we'll make fun of the fact that they always meet somebody that looks just like him in the future. But like, if that didn't happen, yeah, I'd be furious.
Nothing.
You're not going to just end this here.
Honestly, I kind of, I was left in like a deep emotional rut. I was like, I'm feeling too many things. Like, I'm drowning in my own emotions. It was too much for me.
I am so glad I haven't watched it. I think I would have to like hold myself up in my room for days. I can't do it.
It was terrible.
I
would have preferred that she just died.
I'm so sorry that happened to you.
Thank you.
I'm so sorry.
I am waiting for compensation from the writers.
Girl, same.
I want them to give IU a raise because she should not have had to do all that dramatic acting to just end up being alone in the future.
And the most realistic K-drama goes to the one where she's alone in the future. You wake up from the most romantic dream of your life and remember, like, oh yeah, this is my life.
Also, she let you die.
Also, what a terrible person.
Anyway, I think we can wrap it up now. That's our SMLS, our second male lead syndrome.
Now. I can't lie to you. That's a huge bummer.
We'll play a game real quick.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. This is just going to be a...
Are you thinking this off the top of your head or like...
Yeah.
Oh.
Let's do this.
Yeah.
We're creative people.
I'm ready.
All right. I'm going to give you 4 questions. They're all SMLS cases for you. Mm-hmm. And you just have to let me know who you would pick to do this activity with and why. Super easy. Mm-hmm. Do you think you can handle it? Mm-hmm. Okay. I really am making this up on the fly.
I can't wait.
Here we go.
Okay.
All right.
I could not make this up on the fly, so I'm glad you can.
All right. Somebody that you have to take shopping with you.
Okay.
All right. Are you going to pick C1 from She Was Pretty? Now, you are you. You're not the character in the show.
It's just Megan hanging out.
It's just Megan hanging out.
Well, we all know if I'm meeting C1, I'm probably... frozen in a catatonic state.
Yes.
So.
Or, I can't remember his name. Ryeo Jun-yeol from Reply 1988.
Is it the character? So it's the character from the show.
Character from the show.
Okay, Siwon.
Really?
Yeah, because as much as I love Jungwon, I feel like he would be a nightmare to go to the mall with.
See, I feel like he'd be really sweet. Because remember how he like bumped into the guy who made fun of her in the urinal? And he like made him bump into the urinal?
Like passive aggressively the whole time being like, I don't care, just pick one. Like. I'd be like, which one do you like better? This one. Is like, I don't care. Just pick one. I just want to go. And I'd eventually be like, why don't you go sit in the food court and I'll just like come find you when I'm done. Because you're making this harder. Where Siwon would be like, let's get matching leather jackets. And I'd be like, okay. That sounds fun.
Why don't you go wait in the food court? Mm-hmm. Then we'll go get frozen yogurt.
Although, yeah. Frozen yogurt. Oh my God, have we ever talked about the frozen yogurt thing?
I actually printed it off. We'll have a surprise for you guys next time. I printed it off. God. I thought we could do it at the start of our next podcast.
Okay. I love it. Okay.
Stay tuned.
Just remember frozen yogurt. Frozen yogurt. This was a red letter day for us.
This is all you need to remember.
Although I feel like that Siwon character would maybe be like a nightmare also because he'd be like tangoing with the mannequins and stuff, you know, like it'd just be like, oh, you gotta calm down. Like we're in public.
Are you ready? Mm-hmm. Yeah, he would almost be too much. He'd be like a Jackson from Got7.
I would still pick
Jackson,
him.
I'm an older lady. I need you to.
You need to sit down. Here's my phone. You can play any game you want. Be like, Siwon, sit down, go to the food court.
I charge the iPad.
Wait for me. I gotta get through this.
I need a white cami to go.
I need a slip. Those are the hardest things to find. Has anybody ever gone to try to buy a darn slip? Am I the only person that still wears slips?
I haven't had a slip since
I'm wearing one right now. Look at that.
Great.
I wear a slip.
Megan, just flash me your slip.
I'm showing her my slip. I'm wearing it. It's a handy dandy little thing that you should have. Anyway.
All right. Who would you rather introduce to your father? as your new boyfriend.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
I'm going to give you some real bangers here.
Oh, really?
Kim Woo-Bun's character from Airs.
Oh, God.
Or, you know what? We were talking about him earlier. I'm going to say Yo-In. But it's his character.
Sungkyunkwan Scandal.
But it's his character.
So
he's in a period costume.
this is like not as hard as you'd think, because my dad's not one of those dads who's like, any man that comes for my daughter is getting a stern talking to.
Clearly, you're dating Jeff.
Yes, yeah, you let him slip by. I think every time my dad's met a boyfriend, it's been like, oh, hey, how's it going? All right, have fun. He's not like sit up with a shotgun until curfew by any means. He would, I think, really like Yoo-In.
Really?
He would think he's like a political activist.
Oh, I can see your dad being really
My dad
into
would
that.
really be into that. He would really be into somebody who's like socially thoughtful and active and cares about, like, has very deep principles. And I don't think he would mind that he's like low-key a vigilante. He'd be like, yeah, at least he's got initiative.
Right.
Whereas Kim Woo-Bin would be like, oh, good luck with that one.
Your dad would hate Kim Woo-Bin's
He would
character
hate
in
him.
Airs.
He would never tell me, like, you can't date him, but he would be like, this is going to fizzle out. Because he knows I wouldn't put up with that dumb.
I think that's a great answer.
Thank you.
I can absolutely see that happening.
Yeah.
All right. I'm just going to give you one more.
Okay.
Because we're running a little late on time here.
Okay.
Who would you rather... Oh, this is going to be a tough one. I'm trying to end on a positive note, but I just go to an angsty place.
That's why I love you.
That's my
okay.
mind. Who would you rather have be a good friend of yours, but then the SMLS spells start going off, and you're like, oh no, he likes me. I don't like him
break
back.
it off.
Yeah, you have to break it off. Would you rather pick... These are just going to be the actors, not the characters from the shows. So, second male lead for Master Sun. Why am I blanking on his name? Soeunguk. Or is it Jisoo? Who's the guy that you love?
Oh, yeah, Jisoo.
Jisoo from Strong Woman Do Bong-soo.
I feel like I would rather tell Jisoo, like, this isn't going to happen, because I feel like he would recover better. Wait, I already forgot who the other one was. Soeunguk. Yeah, they're both like law enforcement types, because one's a bodyguard, one's a police officer.
Yeah, one's a police officer, one's a bodyguard.
But like Soeunguk's character is very sensitive. I think you find as you go, he's like very afraid of ghosts.
He's very afraid of ghosts. He can't even see them.
He's so cute. And I just feel like it would be much harder to tell him, whereas Jisoo's character never really like loses that edge of like kind of a cold familiarity about him. And I feel like if I was like, look, I feel like with him, I could be like, I just want to be your friend, and he would be like, I respect that. I will do my best, and I won't try to cross the line.
I could see that.
Whereas Soeunguk's character might get like drunk one night and be like, why don't you love me? I'd be like, God, okay, fine. I guess this is happening now.
All right. Well, I think that does it.
That's a good one.
I think we've covered everything that we could cover here.
The last thing I want to say is I tell Becca all the time, RM has a song, BTS, it's on one of the BTS albums called What Am I to You, where it starts off where you're like, it's a love song, and it ends with us like, it's What Am I to You, because it's like a breakup and it's really angsty. And I always think that's the internal monologue of a second male lead through the course of a show, where it's like, I'm the lead. Oh, wait, no, I'm not. Oh, wait, where is this going for me? And every time I listen to it, I'm like, I want somebody to make a Revenge of the Second Male Lead show where they like get so mad after they realize they're the second male lead that they just like take over the story. And
let's write it ourselves.
We should.
Don't
steal that idea, guys.
Yeah, we're coming for you.
That's our idea.
South Korea
Get
Entertainment.
ready. That's our pitch. If anybody's interested, you heard it here first.
I had one reassess really quick. I forgot.
Oh, sure. Oh, I forgot to ask if you did.
No, I only have one. When we did our K-pop supergroup, I off the cuff mentioned, yeah, I just listened to a SHINee song called Pentagon, and I really liked it. It wasn't a SHINee song. It's actually a group called Pentagon. And they sing a song called Shine.
Shine, right.
I'm really sorry. I messed that up. I
didn't catch it.
I saw it on Spotify, and I was like, oh, SHINee, we're going to talk about them tonight. And then I was like, oh, the song's called Pentagon. And then, because I think I had it on my brain.
What's
and then
Penta?
I went back together.
Is that
and I was
9?
like, oh.
Penta? Is that 9?
I think so.
9 sides? Are there 9 people in the group? I'm curious.
I'm going to Google, Megan. What do you think?
I think it's 9. Hexagon is 8, right?
You know what? My son should be down here because
he would know immediately.
He knows everything. Isn't Pentagon only 5?
Oh.
I think it's only 5.
Oopie.
Hang on. Yep, 5 sides to a pentagon.
I'm a dum-dum.
No, it's fine. 5, 9. They're close.
They're very close. 9 to 5. There's a great movie.
Working 9 to 5.
If you haven't watched that movie,
stop
what you're doing and go watch that movie. Because that movie's ahead of its time.
All right. Last request for our listeners. Mentioned it last time. We've already gotten some really good suggestions. We're soon going to be doing a K-drama therapy session, which sounds really after midnight of us. Boom, but if you have any, we just can't bring the show up.
We are a bunch of sad sacks.
If there are any questions you commonly get
about
from
loving.
friends, family, coworkers, whatever, about falling in love with K-pop and K-dramas, and you want us to hash it out or give you a good response, a good way to fire back, let us know. Also, if you just have any
Like
issues,
anxieties
over your love, anything that bothers you that you have questions
because guess
on.
what? We've had them moments where we're like, does this really make me happy?
Right. Let us know, because we're going to have a whole therapy session where we can all learn and grow together.
Amen.
Well, it's so C1
Look,
of us.
this is a happy moment. We're learning and growing.
We're learning and growing. Also, hang on, I saved it. We have a new Twitter follower, and it made me laugh because whenever, you get a notification, and I was like, oh, I'm going to click and just see what this person is about. And this was her bio. I love Korean dramas. Only ones with happy endings, though. No tears for me. And all I thought was, oh my gosh, she is so a Megan.
She's finally a Megan.
I've had that saved on my computer for like 2 weeks because I wanted to show you that.
If you're out there, we belong together. Oh, I sound like a second male lead. I loved you instantly, and I want nothing in return. Love me back.
I'll just love you quietly from this basement.
Forever from afar. Even though I know there's no hope. And that's it, folks.
All right, Megan, you want to take us out of here?
Yes, you can always find us on social media, Twitter at Noona Business, Facebook at Noona Business, and please email us. Let us know what you're watching, listening to, thinking about. Becca at NoonaBusiness.com or Megan at NoonaBusiness.com. You can find us on Podbean, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, and if you go to any of those places, leave us a review. Let us know how you like it.
We
Give
love
us
the
some
comments
feedback.
too.
We
love
love
it when
the
people
comments.
comment with examples of things that they're thinking or watching, or just tell us what you're watching.
Becca,
We'd love to hear what other people have on their plates right now.
Becca made this amazing video of the sax scene with like our commentary of the sax scene, and somebody commented on it, and it was like the best day.
It was so
we were like,
great.
oh, somebody liked the sax talk. So,
You can also find us at NoonaBusiness.com.
How did I forget NoonaBusiness.com?
Go there, guys.
We got behind the scenes photos.
We got things to check
You can
out.
listen
we post
to the podcast.
every single podcast with quotes and extra
We got
things.
great stuff on there.
It's a good time.
Yeah.
Go to NoonaBusiness.com. So, my famous sign out.
I love this.
Only because I feel like if I don't do it,
You have to do it. I'm like, Becca, do the thing.
So whether it's your first episode or your 24th episode, thank you for listening to Noona Ya Business. Yay.
So I wonder if I should worry because this time I'm like, I think we were funny.